Welcome back, everybody. Berserkir Part 3. Where did we leave off? We left off talking about the unseen battlefield and the connections that go along with the unseen battlefield, the Berserkir, and the spiritual practitioners on either side of the battle. I would be remiss if I had any content referring to Berserkir and I did not talk about Ulfhednar. Now, what is an Ulfhednar? Ulfhednar translates to wolf skin wearers. Now, why is this more acceptable than a bearskin? Well, for a number of reasons. Muller in 1967 goes in depth on this, so go check that out. The other thing is, a wolf skin weighs so much less than a bearskin of that day, okay? So it's more perceivable to have this. We also have literary mentions of this, and I'm going to get into those here in a little bit. Now, we do have a couple of separations that occur between Berserkir and Ulfhednar. That being said, they oftentimes are depicted and written about as being on the battlefield at the same time, though in slightly different capacities. Now, other than the wolf and bear motifs having that separation, what else separates a Berserkir from an Ulfhednar? Well, off the bat, we have Ulf or Ar being added to the name of an individual. A source for this resides in the Egil saga, where we see that Egil Skallagrimssonar, not Egil Skallagrimsson, Egil Skallagrimssonar has that attached to his name. It should be noted that Egil defeated a Berserkir on an island in single combat. Another example that exists in the Egil saga is Egil's grandfather, Hverdalfr, who is the evening wolf. Another separation we have between Ulfhednar and Berserkir is the skin itself, right? So the reason why the skin is uncontroversial is because of the practicality, for one, but two, there are so many literary examples and references that talk about the wolf skins. In these accounts, they are called Ulfhammer, or wolf shape. Hammer being a direct correlation to another Norse part of the soul in spiritual practice, known as the hammer, which is the shape or the appearance of somebody. Now, that being said, there are instances of both Berserkir and Ulfhednar changing their shape or shape-shifting and changing their hammer. We talked about this in part 2 with Bolvar. Now, Ulfhammer, or the wolf shape, is talked about in depth in the Volsunga saga, which has two individuals in it. One is named Sigmundur, and the other is Sinfjotli, where they don wolf skins, and they're unable to shed them until after the 9th day, 9. Another instance of the Ulfhammer is in the Alla Saga Flex, where the sorcery of the Ulfhammer is managed by a well-known Valkyrie, or Valkyrie, that goes by the name of Hildur. This is, again, making that connection point between Ulfhednar, Berserkir, and the unseen battlefield. Now, what about their organization? What about their makeup makes them different from Berserkir? So, in the Heraldskalvedi, Thorbjorn Hornklofi talks about Ulfhednar as being armed with spears and shields, which is different from what we normally see Berserkir associated with, which is axe and even on more rare occasions, swords. Now, Thorbjorn talks about Ulfhednar in very specific terms. And one thing he says is they were arranged for their task. Now, this highlights two things specifically. Arranged. They were organized. They had possible battle formations. And task, meaning they had a specific function on the battlefield. They were not just a rabble of insane fighters. The Heraldskalvedi chronicles the battle of Hafrsfjordr, which occurred in 872, and the manuscript can be dated to around 900, give or take. And this is the earliest reference that we have to both Berserkir and Ulfhednar. With all that being said, I hope you guys check out the sources that I put in here, and I want you to come up with some of your own. In no way am I saying that this is fact. I'm just putting sources out there and my opinion. I've heard some people say that Neil Price had hopped on a bandwagon because Berserker didn't exist. Well, that's very easy to say, and it is much harder to back that up based on the amount of sources and references there are. So, I hope you take a look at everything, and there will be a part 4 and a part 5. So stay tuned and drink water.